what his. I don't know what is.
Oh, now we're recording.
Oh yeah.
Rob's back.
Oh, Rob is alive. Okay.
Hey, Rob. Maybe,
In the time it took Pat to stop shitting, Rob came back from Victoria.
Actually, I was.
And Dan is still not with us, which is a whole other thing.
Hey, Rob. Where are you now?
Hi.
How you all doing?
Good.
Yeah, we literally just about to start.
Oh, the train's coming now, so I've got to go again anyway.
Okay, either way.
Brilliant timing.
Perfect. Absolutely.
Sponsored by 80 Days Flavored Peach Korean drink.
Oh.
Okay, I thought you said never. No, actually, no. I won't repeat what I thought I heard you say. Never mind. So, anyways, I thought you said something really offensive. I was about to say, "What the fuck, Emmanuel? Well, that's not like you." Oh, oof. Okay. Ooh, never mind. So,
All good.
all good. All good. And we've all recorded. So this is live. This can be edited out later, right? So we can say
This
the most.
This isn't an excuse to say horrible things.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
it's live.
It's not live.
No, it's just recording.
Oh, it's just recording.
I'm recording it to Rob's cloud server.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess.
Did you say okay or? I thought you said okay. I don't get it.
Oh no, I just said okay then.
What? It's in the creed. The cloud? Where's that? What?
Okay.
Cloud is new home.
Right. Benjamin, why did you pick this pretty good film?
Because it's good.
It's good.
I felt it was, for me, it's one of Ridley Scott's most underrated movies that I don't think many people, if many at all, have ever seen. It was a very quiet sleeper hit that kept, well, it wasn't even a hit, it just sort of came and went. And it was around the time when Nicolas Cage was starting to get really more juicy, more like actor-driven pieces rather than the silly schlock that he's been known for before. The action movies, or the like, and he's kind of like, at this point in his career after adaptation, he was doing more varied and more experimental stuff. And obviously a big name director, Ridley Scott, obviously he would not turn down. Same with Sam Rockwell as well. And I felt it was such a smart, unusual and quirky movie that's always stuck in my head ever since I saw it. I don't think I ever saw it in cinema, but I saw it on the DVD release of that year. And it's always stayed with me for how unique of our story is, as well as it being quite a funny film that still has a lot of pathos and a lot of heartbreaking moments as well. So it seems, so for me, it's a film that has ticks all the boxes a lot, and in a lot of ways. It has a great soundtrack, has a great sharp style. Editing is just like on point. The pacing of the film is consistently compelling, and I think it keeps you guessing like most good films do, because the characters all have their flaws and all have the issues, but what's good about it is that they drive the story, and they kind of like, you're on the journey with them, especially Nicolas Cage's character. You're on his journey. He's experiencing everything through his eyes, trying to get a sense of how someone with his condition would live a life of something we all find. Well, to be fair, if we don't know this, how someone with OCD would be, or agoraphobia, it's a mix of those two things, isn't it? It's not really, I can't remember if it's stated if what specifically he has, but it's such a deliberate, it's such a thing that kind of would like completely change your world, viewpoint of the world and how you would react to people. And so pairing that with his job title of being a con man, being a con artist, it offers a lot of great storytelling potential, which I found was like, they just knocked it out of the park in that regard. And I think for me, I've seen it like 3 or 4 times now, and it's one of those films that just keeps getting better, because the more you see it, the more you understand how this guy leads his life the way he does, and being a manipulator, being manipulated himself is quite an interesting turn of events, as I found. So that twist, much like something like Someone's Pick, Unusual Suspects. It's one of those films that's just like, it just leaves you in awe of that, what have I just seen? And it's just like, you keep going in the back of your mind of like how things progressed the way they did. But it's when you go back and you realize, oh, I totally understand it, just because of the little clues and the little nuances and little quirks all the way through the story, just kind of like little not just Easter eggs, I should have a better word than that, more like what's the word that we had when we were talking about Jaws? There was a lot of like points in the story where there's a seed planted and there's nothing else, and then as the story progresses, you kind of like,
Or set up.
yeah,
Setups and payoffs.
Payoffs and setups. That's it. It's all about that, and I thought it pays everything off very, very well.
Mhm.
And it has a bittersweet ending. It's still kind of, it's still uplifting to me, because it still leaves Nicolas Cage's character in a good spot. He's gone on his arc, he's gone on through his journey, and he's kind of become a better person from it.
Mm.
So yeah, Matchstick Men, it's good.
It's good. Emmanuel, would you like to give your opening statement? You are muted.
It was good, kind of sad. I just think it was really well done. It's an interesting one. Sorry, I don't have many words tonight.
That's all right.
So I can't quite form my thoughts coherently right now. I'm so tired. But I think I like how there was many different things going on at the same time, and you start kind of figuring out, oh wait, that, and it starts to come to bear, and there's just a lot going on, and you're trying to figure out things. It's interesting. I like how it's written, how it's done.
Fair enough. Oh, sorry. I was about to say your scores haven't loaded, but they no trouble. So,
I haven't watched this beforehand, right? And I, unfortunately, because of work, I had to watch this in like 20-minute segments, like a mini series. So it was a bit weird, right?
the true
Miniseries.
Mini series, yeah.
This is how to watch a film from Ben.
I was just tired. Oh no, I was just busy, so I had no time. But I watched it and I was like, it's like Usual Suspects, but with
Fishing.
different characters. I was like, okay, it's not too bad, but I feel like I'm gonna say a John line here. Was it bad that I kind of knew that the characters were kind of new to happen? I kind of knew it was like, well, it's obviously not his daughter.
I think like, sorry, it's probably going to cut into my one, but I was actually like really, really surprised, because I was sort of like, what are we doing? What's the thing with him being like a con artist? Like, it doesn't seem like mega relevant, like, to everything else that's going on, like this relationship with his daughter and that. So yeah, I don't think I'd blame you for going, where are we going with this? Oh, maybe she's fake. But I was just along for the ride. But I was like, why is there because we've had a few picks now where like the person's job isn't necessarily like directly relevant to what's going on, like The Exorcist or Leaving Las Vegas. So I was like, is this going to be another one where it's not particularly relevant? And it's like, no, it's hyper relevant. It's like for the
And I guess because watching it, and I was like, I was interested in the story because I was like, but because I kind of guessed that she was not his daughter, but I was like, what was the twist? Where there is some, it's kind of like, without making it sound bad, there's like an M. Night Shyamalan movie, and you go, oh, there's a twist somewhere. But because I know there's a twist, I guess that's still kind of fun to wait for that twist. But it's just a bit, it ruined it. It doesn't ruin it for me, but it was just like I knew that there was something wrong. Didn't really think it was going to be Sam Rockwell. I mean, his partner, like completely fucking him over. That was not I expected. I was like, oh, wow, okay, that's not what I fully expected, but that's interesting to see. Oh, even the psychiatrist. Oh, damn, okay, yeah. Because like when you do the big reveal, like in all of these sort of movies, Usual Suspects and other stuff, but it's just like, oh yes, the big reveal. It's like, oh yes, how what did they say? It's like the MacGyver-ness of it. Ah, yes, this is how I did my plan, and it's just like reveals everything, and it's like, oh wow, you feel kind of smart, but not really. You're just like, okay. So it's not bad film at all. It's just like it reminds me too much of Usual Suspects. I was like, oh, but I think Usual Suspects is better than this. So it's like, yeah, no, half.
I'm sort of in a bit of a different camp actually, because I thought like the thing that we said about Usual Suspects was sort of like everything is sort of like everything's sort of built around the twist, but like the story we're using to describe disguise the twist isn't that fleshed out. Like there's only like two of the ensemble that are like really like explored and stuff like that. So we're talking like about how because not everyone else is like that established, but it's not quite as impactful. Whereas with this, I think like the character, like Nick Cage's character is really fleshed out, and the way he's interacting with Angela, like yeah, you're getting a lot of character information about it, and like the film could, even if there was no twist, the film could still be about a con man who's decided to go straight because like he doesn't want to fuck up his daughter's life, and that could still be the movie. But I think having the twist there like does elevate it, obviously. But even do you get what I mean? Like without the twist, like Usual Suspects is a bit flat, whereas with this, I think you don't. I think you could have made a film that didn't have a twist, and it could still be compelling.
Okay, I would mostly agree with you, but the point of the story that it was going to be the twist because the setup is that something's gonna happen, and I've planned this meticulously to be over like to the point of like insanity that someone would have to book an office, pretend to be a secretary for this doctor who's not actually a doctor, but then like it's all like all of that shit had to be set up so like extra long con meticulously that it's like it's built into the story that there was going to be a twist, which is not exactly a bad thing, but it's
a really good thing.
Yeah, but it's a thing of like it's still because the story goes there's a twist, and that becomes part of the story, and it becomes you could say you could say it's a good thing for that, but then afterwards you could still say Usual Suspect is about the twist because the story is built at perspective, so there is a twist. So it's like it repeats, and it's like it's so similar, but it's just because there's like little like story-wise elements that they could have changed it into a more interesting film. they didn't do that, but they did instead go for more of the weird. I don't know, because his what was it? OCD. It's just so I can't quite get it really, because I feel like people who do have that weird OCD sort of stuff, they don't just like spend time with someone else and like not have it anymore. I feel like it's something that it's a lot more deep rooted in. This is more real life talk. It's like I feel like it could be, to explain it. It's done for laughs mostly, but I feel like
Oh.
it's not.
I think there's a word for it where when you don't have anything else going on in your head, that's all you have. So that's where it manifests. But the point that's being made is like when he's when he's not on the drugs anymore, he's functioning completely fine. And then he's like, "Oh, we've got more drugs," and he's like, "Oh, thank fuck!" And it's like a complete, it's the menopause drugs. But like he was getting better because he was believing he was getting better. What is the name of that?
A placebo.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, what's like the
Yeah, I know the
Condition.
terminology.
yeah? What's
Camilla said it earlier. Schematic, psycho something.
Psychosomatic.
Psycho motherfucker.
Social.
No, just say American Psycho. It's easier that way. Okay. So, but in any case, my point is,
Yeah.
I feel like certain points of the story,
Yeah, psychosomatic is the word. Sorry.
were played for laughs, where they could have made it a lot more interesting to the story. But I think that was kind of part of the long con anyway. So it's like, it's all right. It's not like we'll get like it's like certain parts where I go, maybe not. But like most of it's good. Most of it's good. So, Pat, how about you? What's your opening statement?
So a bit like Ben, to be fair. It's a film that I've liked for quite a long time. So like when I was younger, I obviously had a liking for Nick Cage in his films, and I started going through his filmography, and like I haven't completely gone through it yet, to be fair. I've sort of stopped for a long time, but this one always
Stronger
stuck
men
out.
have tried and failed.
This one really stuck out because like there's a lot of like really great sort of 90s action films, and then there's some like really mental films that he's done, like one in particular was Bad Lieutenant. That was the most trippiest film I think he's ever done. But this one is just like a bit like the one that you picked last year, was it, Alec? Adaptation.
Oh yeah.
Where it's just sort of like as straight as Nick Cage can be in a dramatic film. And I personally thought he absolutely nailed it. But there's that twist with his daughter, I completely forgot about. So like I was sitting there watching it this morning, and I was like, oh yeah, of course she ain't his daughter. And I still really like the way that they built up to it. So like, if they're sort of treating the audience as someone that's not watched it before, and I don't know, a fairly stupid audience that can't work out anything, like that twist was actually quite clever. But I think it was a combination of how well it was written and how well it was acted. Like I thought Alison Lohman was brilliant as his stooge daughter.
Stooge daughter.
Like she played her part in the long con like expertly. It sort of makes you feel like Nick Cage should really be doing more films like this, because he does have the acting chops when it comes to it. But he does sort of get sucked into doing all these really shitty low budget films for a quick $500 or whatever it is they pay him. You're on mute.
Fucking $500. What the hell?
Have you seen some of the films he's brought out the last 10 years?
Well, yeah, but like,
There's this film called Takarev. I'm convinced they made the whole thing for about $50.
look. For Nick Cage, it's a bit weird because he's done a lot of stuff. He's got a good repertoire of his films.
Yeah,
But there's literally a Nick Cage film about Nick Cage, and
that
I'm like,
film.
I've not what.
Like, let's go off topic for a minute. That Nick Cage film where he plays himself is probably the best film he's done in 20 years.
I've got to say, it looks like a pretty solid film. I haven't watched it, but I was like,
it's incredible. I might pick it at some point because, like,
I would like to see it.
like, I don't want to sort of toot my own horn, but I'm probably the biggest Nick Cage fan in the film club.
Oh,
In the world.
definitely.
Like,
Film Club,
There's no doubt about that.
It's like he's got his actual great films, and then he's got other films that I like it anyway because it's Nick Cage. He's doing his thing, and I'm easily pleased. But then there's some films that are absolute trash, like the what's it called, The Wicker Man, and a lot of the stuff that he's brought out probably in the last 10-15 years. You sit there and you're like, Nick, what are you doing?
What?
Like,
I was gonna say, isn't the Wicker Man story like kind of weird anyway because it's based off like that old, like I would like to say 70s movie or something. It's
Yeah.
really,
Yeah,
weird.
it was weird and very like unique and yeah.
unique is a good word for
Yeah,
it.
maybe-
Weird and
Yeah.
unique.
it was
it
it was
would-
based on a very strange true, well, it's not true story, but kind of like based in truth.
Saying that,
Really?
it would have been interesting if the people who made, what was the film where you had these devils, goats, and some kids?
Oh, I know what I mean.
The Witch.
No, it was Midsummer, right?
Vitch.
Oh, it was The Witch. Oh, I thought you meant Midsummer.
Yeah.
I thought we're talking about something else.
I haven't seen Midsummer yet,
No.
but actually, probably. It would have been interesting if they did it kind of with a slight horror tinge to it. So it was more similar to The Witch. And it was more believable, but also just unsettling the whole time. And you know something's up, but you don't know, unless you've watched it before, of course. You don't know exactly what's up. You don't know what the crap's going on, but you're also, obviously it's not a Nick Cage film, so and it'll be very different and very serious and very kind of like, this is creepy. You guys are creepy. Okay, this is not right. I don't know. It would have been interesting if it was more like that. Not that this call is about that film, but yeah.
Yeah, let's circle back. On that sort of similar note, though, I think that is something that I like about this. Is one of like my favorite types of films where like you are just kind of along for the ride. I don't think it's like a stupidity thing. I think it's you just waiting for information to be presented. And it's sort of like, that's cool, but you don't like. I think like it is subtle enough where you can be surprised by the twist if you're not actually like looking for it. But then once you rewatch it, you kind of because when I first watched it, I was like, man, I really thought Sam Rockwell would be in that more. But now knowing how involved he was in what was going on, it's like, oh, I can see bits of his character in his decision to do this and this and this. Did he have to give him fake menopause pills? No, he did not. Like, he was just like, he's fucking with him. He's just taking the fucking piss. Like, it's yeah, just seeing all that, just the questions that Angela's asking him, and the fact she's snooping around and finding his money and his gun and all that. Like, yeah, you can kind of see. I was just seeing some things like his choices of dialogue or something, or you know, all that. Seeing it again with the context makes you go like, ah, fuck, he was just so on it the whole time. Like,
What I would say is that it's an interesting one because the whole time, the whole plan hinged on him not contacting or going to meet or talk to the ex once,
which he knew that he wouldn't do.
but there was always a chance, because there's been times that you could say that it was kind of possible or kind of close to happening when he was so pissed off that he was actually going to call her and just be like, look, I'm sending her home. I can't do this. I'm freaking out here. And obviously, yes, the lone con wouldn't have worked, but if she didn't expose Sam, who knows? I don't know like what would have happened aftermath, but it was kind of a risky plan. It was, even though knowing your target, is really well, just like Nicolas Cage character says, 90% of it is improvisational. So even though you know them for sure, they're going to do this, they might not actually do that. They might throw you a curveball. And
I mean,
dangerous curveball could have been like, he drove up to her house. What if he didn't actually listen to the kid and was just like, you know what? I want to talk to her. I want to tell her. When he talked about custody, he obviously never went through with contacting the mom, because he asked her, do you think I should? And she was just like, I mean, if you want to, yeah. And he never did contact her. So he was in contact with some fake lawyer, but he never spoke to her. Like, in all the areas, it was just that one thing that could have broke the whole plan. And it's interesting that not once, even though he came so close to multiple times, not once did he just go, hey, Heather, your daughter, blah, blah, blah. What daughter? It would have been like, who the f are you?
but there is ample reason for him not doing that, and Sam Rockwell knowing he won't do it, because they ended so like violently, and that she ain't picking up the phone. She doesn't want to talk to him, so he can't really get anywhere. Like, you know, even if he is trying, even that, like, but also like, yeah, he, from what he knows of their like that relationship, he knows he's not gonna want to go up and talk to her. He's gonna want to avoid it. So like, yeah, that would have like blown the whole plan open. But I think he's got enough reason to think he's gonna get away with it. Which, and again, even if he does go and do it, that doesn't necessarily expose Sam Rockwell. That just means he's just gonna like, who the fuck was that then? So
exactly.
yeah.
So unless the girl then exposes the whole thing, like in case she's worried about him or whatever, like, yeah, it wouldn't expose him, but it would make him start questioning things. He'd probably end their partnership. And yes, he hasn't really lost anything. I mean, he didn't has the con. He didn't pull it off, but I guess yeah, for him it was worth the risk. It's just interesting. But I do agree with you that yeah, it has to be someone like him. It's just crazy. This whole time, he really couldn't. How to say? He really couldn't get up the courage until all the crap went down to just go to her door.
Mm.
And it's quite interesting that after
That's such a
all
rough
that-
scene.
Huh?
That's such a rough scene. Sorry.
Which one?
When he goes back to the ex-wife's
Oh,
house,
rough.
and then
What way?
he finds out like there wasn't ever an Angela, and he's just like just kind of realizes what's happened. He just like goes down on his knees and stuff. Like I was just like, shit.
Yeah.
That was a really cool bit of it.
Yeah. And I know they said it ended really violently, but when she answers the door, she doesn't seem that scared of him. She just seems surprised. She's just like, Roy? Like, why are you here? Like, I mean, the fact that I can't remember because it's too small of a detail to really notice, but did she have a peephole?
No, she's got a
window?
screen door.
So will she be able to see who's at the door before? Okay.
Yeah. There's like a
So-
mesh.
Okay, so if it was the same kind of thing with a phone, she could have just not answered the door. But she seemed like, okay, I'm just gonna answer like, hello? It was
Well,
like,
yeah, she can see him and he can see her. So
yeah.
like, might
But
as
what
well.
I'm saying is she didn't, and all of that, she didn't act like someone who's really scared, who has some kind of like bit trauma of whatever violence happened. I'm not saying that he wasn't violent and he didn't do a lot of crap. I'm just saying that maybe another part of it is that he's made it worse in his head, which is another thing. So
That's
for
possible.
him, it's so bad that he actually can't like go back to her, when in fact, yeah, she probably sees him as like, yeah, someone I wouldn't want to be with, but not someone she's also scared of. It's just like, you're an idiot, you're waste. But yeah, you're here. Because
Yeah.
otherwise, I wouldn't be surprised if she was just like answering the door. She's like, I've called the police. What are you doing here? Leave, blah, 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 or whatever kind of thing, which is quite standard in America. There's many ways it could have gone down, but none of that happens. So that could be another layer to his character, which is, again, another good thing about the film. That he could have also overplayed that, like
Reach.
yeah, with that in terms of in his mind. Made it into something it wasn't.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I gotta say, I do think that actress is a bit. She wasn't great.
That's too critical. She's only young in that.
I don't give a fuck. She's still not good. It's probably
You hated her in Big Fish as well, I bet.
no, not her. I meant
wait, who was
the ex-wife actress.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
No, Alison Lohman's good.
I was
she's
going to
great.
say, she was one of the best things, isn't it?
No, she's really good. I meant the ex-wife actress.
Yeah, fair
Right.
enough. Yeah, she was a bit
Who's-
forgettable.
Who's Angela? And I was like, oh, shut up.
Who's Angela?
See, I only remembered her from Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah.
Oh, is that her as well?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
Oh,
horrible film.
I've never seen Drag Me to Hell.
I really like that film.
It's terrible. put it this way: if you ever do see it, I would implore you not to. But the premise is actually decent, but the writing is trash. This is the problem.
It's bad.
Technically, it was well shot and all sorts of well produced, but the writing was trash. I was just like, you could have actually made a really good film, but you just crapped all over your own film. It felt like no one cared who was making this film. I was just like, this is so sad. How do you make something this bad? And you obviously had a really good, but I mean, there's lots of things that bad. But
so Simon's going to pick it soon, what you say?
I hope not. I'm not watching it again.
No, Trek to Hell is just like one of those films that you're like, oh, right, interesting concept. But like,
I haven't seen.
Yeah. It's like the whole kind of concept of like, you get involved with, I know we're not talking about this one, but you get involved with like the supernatural dark stuff because you're curious or kind of things are happening in your life, but you get too deep and obviously it's like they've sold their soul in the way that they're getting dragged to hell, which is it's an interesting concept, but it's just, yeah, it's just crap.
I mean, if I wanted to do a supernatural film, I would do Keanu Reeves one where he's the lawyer. I can't even remember the name of that movie.
Stop.
Yeah. Wait,
The
like,
Devil's Advocate.
huh?
The Devil's Advocate.
Yeah,
Oh,
something like that.
That film's legitimately really funny.
Fucking Al Pacino makes that film, man.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah.
I can't decide if it's shit or not. It's so fucking funny.
I really like it, but I can understand if someone thinks it's bad.
Yeah.
'Cause it's,
That's fair. Yeah.
it's basically a vehicle for Al Pacino to say some really funny lines.
Yeah, it really is. It's just Pacino and
Like Keanu
Yeah,
Reeves
he's
is
saying
actually
it.
all right in it, but he's also quite passive.
He's just being
But
like
that's a
his
film
normal
for another
self.
day.
That's it. I can't wait to do that again. That's gonna be so good.
Going back to the film, random, but Camilla, she was kind of half watching it at different points, but she thought Heather was Kathy, and I kept telling her, no, they're different people. And why do they look so similar? I guess he's got a type. They've put that into the film, I guess. He's going out with
Fair
two
point.
women that look similar with each other. One just has slightly longer hair.
Part of me thought that Quentin Tarantino wrote this because he was all the time making sure that shoes were off in his house.
That's okay. I get why you think that, but that is no. If it was a Tarantino film, the shot would have lingered just for about a couple of seconds too long on the feet.
Well,
but
it did linger when Cage was putting his shoe on with his giant horn thing.
Oh, yeah,
no. It would you would know. You would be uncomfortable
No,
3
yeah.
seconds.
If it was Tarantino, he'd be like, no, not just socks, not just shoes, it'd be socks as well.
And
That's
someone
the
would have someone else's toe in their mouth.
Oh man, he'd be like, I need to like touch them up.
Oh fucking hell! Jesus Christ! Wait, have you guys actually picked that film yet?
Which one?
Well, the one that you just mentioned about the toes in his mouth.
Oh, wasn't that?
We're
not
Wall
picked.
Street.
No, fucking hell.
That's
Dust Till
That's
Dawn.
not Tarantino.
Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, that
I have
wasn't-
on my list as well.
That is technically not a Tarantino film, even though he's in it. It's
Robert
Robert Rodriguez.
Oh, really?
Which is why it's terrible.
Well, half of it's good, half of it's bad.
Anyway, we're getting off topic. Fun fact: Alison Lohman was 24 when she did this.
She fucking don't look 24.
No, she did. Well, she does like right at the end when she hangs.
Yeah,
when she's
They-
with Marty.
They age her up, obviously.
Also, it's nice to see Marty again, isn't it?
Who?
Marty, the guy from. He's in Cabin in the Woods, and he's also in Training Day. So I think he's like our first recurring actor.
Oh.
But he's like the boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was such a good scene.
It's something what a small frame and acting as well as like how she does her voice and like clothing, how much that really can change things. Obviously, if she didn't have the small frame she did, then she wouldn't be able to pull it off convincingly. But yeah, on a really random note, the scene where, again, another rough scene, but the scene where Nicolas Cage walks into the room and the guy has the gun. I said get back at the same time the guy said get back. And it was such a kind of weird moment. I had to pause. I was like, what just happened? Because I wasn't thinking get back in my head. I was thinking like he's there, but I just said get back, and but he said it at the exact same moment. I was just like, I don't know what just happened here. I'm going to continue watching this film. Anyway, just right.
I feel like that happened to Nick Cage, like as he was doing that. Sorry, he is really, really good in this, but there is one scene where he is just fucking hammering it right up, and it's in the pharmacist.
That's probably one of my favourite scenes in the film as well. I fucking love this scene.
He's doing a fairly like, he's doing a fairly like, you know, even performance here. And then he's just like,
have you ever been dragged to the sidewalk and beaten till you've been pissed blood?
It was so because it was so supposed to show his unhingedness, but it's just like I don't know if it's the character is unhinged or if it's Nick Cage has become unhinged. It's like Nick, you're all right. What the fuck's happening?
I think it's the thing with Nick Cage though, because he can just go like.
I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Okay.
He can. No worries.
See you tomorrow. That's gonna piss blood right now.
No, he's gonna piss blood. I do love it as well when he's like the guy, like the desk guy. He's like winding him up, and he's, "What do you mean, man?" I was just like, "Why did you say it like that?" But that was clearly like a great little like take where it's just kind of like, "Go on, Nick, you can have one," and he just screamed at him. That did make me laugh. So I've seen that before. Like there's like YouTube like things, and there's just like compilations of all like Nick Cage's like just fucking craziest moments. And like I saw that little bit before, and I was like, oh right, that's what that's from. But yeah, they kept it quite restrained. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say it's like I feel like that's the only real moment where he's like properly unhinged crazy, because like I was thinking about the scene that was earlier in the movie where he actually like destroys all his pills, and like all the pills are gone, and he has to do that weird manic super cleaning in his house. I was like, that's not that crazy. I feel like that level of crazy was acceptable for this film, unlike his pharmacy crazy, where it's so fucking unhinged that it's like weird, but it fits because it's a Nick Cage film. Because I feel like if any other actors were to do it like this, it would be like, that's a bit too far. But because it's Nicolas Cage, it fits. Because it fits as a quintessential offer, yeah, a bit crazy. That's great.
Exactly. Right, well, we're down from. Oh no, he's back.
I mean, the lighting more matches, I guess. I don't know. Everyone's like playing with fire today.
Oh, that's not good. It doesn't put any candles on.
It's like I'm fucking watching Pixar's Elemental.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we just what the fuck did you say in the chat this morning, was it?
Oh, really?
Best film of the year. You're right.
Backfired. Yeah.
But Disney doesn't know what they're up to, he says.
No, they do not. Fucking hate that. And I haven't even seen.
Just like fucking Quantumania.
Yeah, I was thinking of putting it on while I was waiting, but I was just like, it's like 2 hours fucking long, isn't it?
It's longer than that.
2.5. Is it longer than that?
I think it's 2 hours.
Is it on Disney Plus now?
Yeah, all the recent
I can
Marvels,
finally watch it.
except
Then. I don't have to
Guardians.
fucking like.
Yes, you can finally watch the
see.
deeply anticipated Ant-Man sequel.
Well, no,
Very nice.
it's less that. It's more like I don't need to pay extra money to go see it. You know what I mean? I guess like I'm paying Disney because I watch all the other like shows and stuff. Debatable if they're good or not. Let's not go into that right now. But like the point is, I don't have to pay extra money to watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if somehow, especially you, because the just popped up, right? If Morbius was on fucking like Disney Plus, I would probably fucking watch it. I would probably be on my most recent watch list.
The problem is it wouldn't cost you anything money wise, but it costs your time.
No. You wasn't, but you didn't let me finish. I was gonna say I was just gonna leave it on when I'm cleaning or shit. I could just watch like I'll be like vacuuming, watch like 5 minutes. Afterwards it ends, they'll be like, oh, I guess I'll watch another 5 minutes after I clean wash the dishes. Because like, okay. I wouldn't waste any time. We'll just be on all day just for the sake of it.
Just
watch.
Just remember, right? There is a decent chance, right, at our age, that if you were to watch Morbius, then like there'd be like a slight chance that you might die, and that was the last film you ever saw. It's like, do you want to do that?
Fucking hell, Alex.
Why have I come into a Morbius chat?
Pat keeps derailing things.
Wait,
Morbius.
What I would say is that Quantumania, it goes like this during the whole film. You've got parts that are like, oh, this is nice. And then parts are just like, what the crap is this? Morbius, it's just a consistent, this is okay.
Shit.
It's kind of movie effects. It's okay.
No, it's not. I don't know what.
Yes,
happened,
it is.
Something went terribly wrong when you watched it.
all I know is like, because Disney IP gets eventually put onto Disney Plus, I will watch most films on there eventually. Like no matter what, Alec, no matter how much you hate Elemental before it's even out, right? I mean, you could go, fuck it. One day I might watch it, I might not, but at least I don't have to pay extra money for it.
I'm
You have
gonna
to pay
go out
with
and
your
watch
life,
Elemental.
man.
I'd be too afraid that I died mid-watch, and that'd be the last film I ever watched. Anyway, on that note, hi Rob.
Hello. How's everyone doing?
Folks.
How'd you find Matchstick Men?
I liked it. I thought, considering that it was made 20 years ago, the way that it presents like OCD and all of that kind of stuff was actually like kind of neat, because I mean, well, even now, like I think it's quite hard to portray it in a way that isn't like making it a joke. And considering that it's Nick Cage playing the character, I imagine that the temptation would have been there to make it a joke. But I thought it was actually quite respectful in its own way. And I really liked the dynamic between Nicolas Cage and Sam Rockwell. Some of the lines that Sam Rockwell said, or Sam Rockwell's character said, reminded me of me and Alec a little bit. Like just in his humor, like the way that like he sort of like finds taking a phrase and like messing it up funny. It just reminded me of me and Alec, like the thing with like the Pope shitting in the woods and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah,
I thought you meant me going, can you clean the receiver, and you just wipe it on your ass.
that was a good moment when he's like, oh, you got food all over the carpet, and he's like, yeah, the food's gone, and just throws it in the fireplace.
Like the casting was like perfect, man, because as soon as it started, I think I sent you guys a message being like, these guys are the perfect scumbags. That opening scene, so by the way, I didn't really know anything about this film before I watched it, and that opening scene where Sam Rockwell's on the phone and he's like selling this woman, what is it, like some kind of like water tech, right?
Yeah, it's a water purifier.
Yeah. So he's selling that to her, and then like Nicolas Cage walks in and he's like, oh, my manager's just walked in, let me like partios him, and then Nicolas Cage spins this thing about like a secretary who's about to give birth. Oops.
Give birth.
Yeah, so all of that stuff, like I was just taking it as like it being a film about like dodgy salesmen, and because I've worked with a lot of dodgy salesmen, I was sat there thinking like this is spot on. This is exactly how they behave. And then when you realise that they're just con men, it was like, yeah, that's exactly what they are. So yeah, I thought it was really good, man. Like I don't know if I thought it was a great film. Like, I think it was like maybe one that like I won't remember as well as like other films that we've had recently. But I don't know if that's like a recency bias thing, just because like every film we've had recently has been one that I've really, really, really liked. But yeah, no, I thought it was really good. I thought it was a good pick.
How would you say this compares to Usual Suspects?
God damn it.
Well, we had to ask the question. It has to be your thing, right?
How how would you compare it to the experience of fishing?
I'll be
How would you
honest, like
compare it to
Usual
the fish?
Suspects isn't a film that came to mind when I was watching it. I actually thought that it might make a good double bill with the film on my list. So it kind of reminded me in some parts of Punch Drunk Love.
Of what?
Punch Drunk Love.
Oh, don't know that one.
So I'm good. All right.
Okay. Well, no, don't talk about it too much. I just say it's like a possibility you could do.
Well, the thing with Punch Drunk Love is that like it's all about. It's a similar thing. Like it's not about mental illness, but like mental illness is a part of it, and the way that they treat the mental illness is just something that I thought, oh, that's kind of similar, because it's kind of like respectful to the character who has it, and it's not drawing a joke from it.
Oh yeah. I don't know the film, but I thought you said about mental people, and I was thinking because when you said that, I was thinking of Sam Rockwell. I was like, oh wait, didn't he do Seven Psychopaths? And I was thinking, oh right, yeah,
Seven Psychopaths.
No,
Seven
Seven Psychopaths. When you're in Amsterdam, you don't just have one psychopath. You have several psychopaths. Then you've got the tram line. It's all great.
It sounds like a movie on Mubi.
Yeah,
We're writing seven abreast.
like
We
my
need
danger.
7 psychopaths.
Seven psychopaths. Yeah, fucking you. 7 psychopaths.
Just say psychopath.
Psychopath.
Yeah.
Okay, 7
Psychopath.
psychopaths.
No,
And
hang on.
S.
I'm a Brit. We don't say psychopath.
I do.
Psychopath.
But he's not
Psychopath.
British.
I know.
I am
He's-
British.
Well.
Don't you fucking start this conversation.
That's okay.
I will
fuck.
fucking fight you.
I'm going home. Shit.
Never mind. I just want to say you have different influences than what
Mom.
That's all I'm gonna say.
In any case, Sam Rockwell's character reminded me, his character in this film reminded me of his character in that film. Both of them were a
Yeah.
bit like weird, slightly crazy, but I think that's just like Sam Rockwell's acting style. And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Sam Rockwell's a really interesting actor because it's only really since Film Club and like, oh, he's not even here, but like it's only really since knowing how big a fan of him Ben is that I've really like started paying attention to him.
A fan of who? Who?
Sam Rockwell.
Oh, you're a fan of him now.
Yeah, I think he's really cool, man. Yeah, Ben, I was saying that it's like it's only really since Film Club that I've really started paying attention to Sam Rockwell. You know.
Oh, lovely. He's the man.
Yeah, I always thought it was
The
like you,
Matchstick
John, that
Men.
loved him, wasn't it?
I think it's like it was probably Galaxy Quest when I first started paying attention to him, probably.
Oh, fuck.
Because we'd already had Moon at that point, and then it was like, oh, it's Ben's second pick for this guy, and then I was like, oh, he's all right.
He rocks well.
Yeah, you just push him and it just.
He was even in Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
That's the one I thought of first. I just didn't want to say.
I don't think he got that
Damn
on his
it.
plaque though. Just like was also in Iron Man 2. It's just like
Yeah. I would never want a compliment that could also be received by Elon Musk.
Oh, no.
Kablamo.
I've got an issue with Elon Musk. He hasn't even apologised for banning me.
Yeah.
Christ.
Apologise right now.
That would be
You
great if you had like a
dastardly
personal message from,
There's a lot.
message from Elon Musk going, "Oh yeah, we took it out of context. You weren't inciting violence when you said hit him in the leg."
Well, I wasn't. If they actually read the whole thread, they'd see what the message was about. But these
But you did have
Americans on
previous when you
Twitter
said
don't
drink
read.
bleach.
We'll hit him in the
Oh
leg.
yeah, he finally got a CEO, so
Oh,
that
really?
he doesn't have to spend all day messing with the hot trash can fire train that is Twitter.
Do we know who the CEO
Blimey.
is yet?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Donald Trump.
it's this lady.
Fucking hell, it might as well be, right?
Oh no. He there was something between him not being reinstated. No, was he reinstated or not reinstated? No,
He was reinstated, but he refused to come back.
Yeah, there's a whole thing about that. Anyway, it's this lady, I forgot her name. Good luck to her. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it the same lady that helps run YouTube and Facebook that got
No.
banned for about a few hours? Was it?
No, the YouTube lady was really cool. The Facebook lady is someone completely different.
Linda Yaccarino.
Linda Yaccarino.
Apparently, I think people have been saying, Rob, that they're wondering if this is a glass cliff.
Okay.
You know that saying?
Yeah,
No.
like when it's like a false front for you carrying on.
Yeah, so they're kind of worried that she's got this position because it's kind of like, well, you can sink or you can truly sink and just have a horrible time with this whole thing. So good luck with this house on fire. It's basically, let's go to. I feel for anyone who's like managing a social media platform. It is, yeesh. That's probably one of the worst jobs out of many jobs out there. Anyway.
I do like it when you put tweets and like you're swearing in the tweet, and then it goes, "Did you mean to send?" A lot of people on Twitter don't post things like this, and I was like, "Have you been on your own platform?"
Like some of the things that me or Alec would post is mild in comparison to what I've seen.
Yeah, definitely. Right. Anyway, welcome to Matchstick Men, everybody.
Well, we talk about everything, but
Matchstick Men.
yes,
Lovely. Do we want to do
Talk about
favorite
Matchstick
scenes? Let's try and get some structure back in here.
it's just about the lone con, you know. This call was never about Matchstick Men. It was just about fooling
fucking hell.
people.
That would have been fucking amazing. he pulls off a shirt, he pulls off his jumper and it says Alien 3. And I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck? Can you imagine?
What a con.
I asked Amazon to just redirect the link through to Alien 3.
Oh,
And this is when Rob announces his next pick.
Oh, I'd have actually I'd have flipped my telly. Like, no, not doing this anymore.
80s
It's
pick I
gonna-
never picked.
Starbase 2.
Alien 3. Oh, stop it. Right. Favorite scenes, somebody.
Mine is the one that I already mentioned. It's the it's that starting bit where Sam Rockwell and Nicolas Cage are just like ripping off an old lady. It's just like, I just think it's really good. Like, it's a really cool way to establish the dynamic between them. And I also think that next scene where like she opens the door, like it's a bit silly, but when he starts like sweating and like his vision goes like super focused and whatever, yeah, I thought that was quite an efficient way to be like, there's something wrong with this guy. I really enjoyed that whole bit. I also
Oh,
thought as well,
sorry.
the way that they represented it, like with his vision, like sometimes just because. So this was an interesting thing, right? So I said that I didn't know much about the film going into it. When his vision went like super focused, I was like, oh shit, that's what I get before a migraine. I was like, oh, is the thing that he gets migraines? And then it wasn't.
Turned out he had gout the whole time.
Gout out.
Yeah, he's been
Oh, man.
pissing blood.
Fucking hell. This blood. That's got to be your favourite scene, hasn't it, Pat?
That's definitely Pat's
Yeah.
favorite.
The pissed blood scene. No, you surprised me.
I've got a couple of scenes actually that I really like. There's one that me and Rob were talking about earlier today, and that I briefly mentioned a little while ago. The one where he goes super Nick Cage in the chemist. That I'll always sort of appreciate Madcap Cage. Like it's always an entertaining time.
That's the pissed blood scene.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then
Yeah,
it was. All right. See,
You know what? That did remind me actually, because there was another scene that we were talking about earlier, which now I think of it as that's probably my favourite scene. Not the one I said. It was the one where he's talking to the therapist and he's like, and he's saying like, oh, if you need, he's saying like, why did you order these online? Why did you get these illegally or whatever? And he's like, oh, so I wouldn't have to talk to somebody like you. And like that whole conversation, I was like, yeah, man, I relate. Like going to the doctor is like my worst nightmare. I completely get this guy.
He's only there just for the meds. That's all. Just like the meds.
Yeah.
Also, another scene I quite like is when he sees Angela again in the carpet shop. Because even though we know at this point she's just conned him and she's nothing to do with him or anything, there's still a father-daughter bond to them, even when they're there in the carpet shop. And I thought that was a pretty nice touch. But also going from there to seeing that at the end of the day, the long con actually probably benefited his life going forward, because obviously he then settled down with the lady from the checkout and having an actual kid of his own, which I thought was pretty neat.
Yeah.
Though what I would say, even though
that's when she's giving birth and Sam Rockwell just comes out and goes, got you again.
But what I would say, that is also, I think, my favorite film, mainly on the part where he's just like I'm seeing things differently now, like seeing things in a different way now. So yeah, similar to I think it's a great scene. So I think it's my favorite scene. But saying that, he hasn't learned some lessons and gets her pregnant within a year of meeting her. I'm just like, this doesn't sound like the setup for a long-lasting relationship. Does this feel similar to your last relationship? Like, maybe you was with the last one for a longer time, but getting someone pregnant, they're being visibly pregnant in the first year of you being together, it sounds a bit, I don't know, not advised.
Could you imagine that conversation they must have had as well? Just kind of like, did you have a daughter? And he's like, long story.
Yeah,
I was being conned.
Yeah, I used to be a con man. I changed my ways. I got conned myself from a partner, fake daughter, all the stuff.
All that jazz.
Yeah, all that jazz. You know how it happens. So, I think, was there another one I liked? It's gone out my head now. And if I remember, I'll bring it up. Yeah.
I think I don't want to go like too. Oh, go on, sir.
Oh, I was gonna say, my favorite scene is the scene. I mean, we're talking about is him and his relationship with his daughter is a what, Pat? You're right.
Sorry.
I was gonna say the scene where he was teaching her how to con someone was actually probably my favorite scene because it shows you absolutely what sort of terrible person he is, right? But it's the scene right at the end of it. He goes, "Now give her the money back." I was like, he has like some hope to be a somewhat good guy. Well, no, it's not as scummy as he could be, but it's like he still sucks. But it's like he has the chance for redemption, and I was like, that's nice. I think that's because of the way that he did it as well. It's like, okay, especially it's when he got her into the car. She could have literally just drove off, but he went, "No, give her the money back." And you're a pretty good storyteller. You can find a way for you to sort your own shit out and give her the money back. Yeah, I was like, amazing scene.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick.
Yeah, that is a good pick.
Yeah. Also, to add to just that kind of stuff, even though Camilla had made a good point, at the time that the film was made, it has things in it that it wasn't necessarily as mainstream as now, or as common practice, or is positively seen on. Like, you've got this grown man going to therapy, going to a therapist or a psychiatrist or whatnot to get actual help. Yes, he's got the medicine and there's that as well, but still they're showing this, and he's talking about his feelings and whatnot on in the film. And you also got, like you said, the scene, bless you, where he teaches her, but he's still like, look, I don't want you doing this, get back the money. And you have those kind of moral things and kind of good things that missed all this, the bad stuff and all sorts of other things. It's nice to see in a film of that kind of that era where it was coming.
I think from that point of view, it's quite ahead of its time, because if you look at everything else, it's like, even like up to very recently, but like usually if a character has got some kind of like mental health problem, unless it's like a very mainstream mental health problem, it's usually played for laughs. And I think given this was OCD, and like it's one of those ones that even now people tend to write off quite easily. I was really surprised in like how respectfully it treated it.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That reminds me of what was a film we had? It might have been in Film Club, about where it represents mental illness, and we all kind of were a bit unsure about it. It was a good film, but it kind of was a bit like heavy-handed in how they did it. I can't quite remember what it was.
Oh, A Beautiful Mind?
Oh, fuck it up.
Probably, yeah. I think it must have been that.
Oh, fucking Beautiful Mind. Oh, Ben, you just awoken a bunch of memories I didn't want.
It's been a while since we've had a Russell Crowe film as well.
Yeah, that was the one that did it for me.
This year is calling for one.
Do you want us to pick Les Miserables?
No, I don't, because that will make me Les Miserables.
Fuck it.
I stole a loaf of bread.
Ben, why did you have to remind me of A Beautiful Mind?
A Beautiful Mind.
It's a beautiful mind.
I barely remember it. I must not have cared that much about it.
You really liked it at the time.
I quite liked it, but there was bits that made me shave points off as well.
There were bits that made me shave my head.
Now I've got to see what Emmanuel scored.
Saying that it's not a film, but the only thing it reminded me of, or someone portraying a form of OCD, but a bit different, was in a TV show, The Boys.
So, Emmanuel, you gave it a 9.5.
Okay, cool.
You gave it 4 10s.
I do remember you being very impressed with the score.
Sorry, continue.
I must have thought it was really good. But yeah, MM or Mother's Milk from The Boys, he also has OCD, but it's not played in a kind of like obvious way, like Nicolas Cage's one. It's one that's much more under control. But it kind of comes out in different things, and you realize, oh wait, he has OCD, but it's also explained that a lot of his OCD kind of tendencies started after a really traumatic event. Like he saw most of his family die in front of him and killed by some apparent superhero, like in blood. So it's just like, I'm not surprised you're traumatized and you've got some compulsion. Like,
if you did it, really lovely melody.
I'm not surprised you're traumatized.
Oh man, but, they did it well, very well. Going back to Beautiful Minds.
No,
I must not have had much issue with how he portrayed the particular mental illness.
I think my issue at the time, it was a long time ago now, but I think my issue was the way that they were talking about medication in it. Because if I remember rightly, there was a big thing about how, I think it was like how the medication was making him worse or something. And there was a bit that came across to me as if it was like a moral choice not to take the medication. And I was like, that's kind of like misrepresenting that whole thing.
Anyway, we don't need to dwell on it any longer.
Yes, back to Matchstick Men and like the setting for this.
Yeah, you sounded really bitter about it. It's like, yeah, let's talk about Matchstick Men.
No, I was gonna say it's a film of its time, mainly because I remember that there's one particular scene where Sam Rockwell was like talking to the Mark, I can't remember the name of the guy, and he was like, yeah, you know, that internet, it's a fad. It will never catch on. I was like, wow, this is really a movie of its time. I never really thought people said it like that, but I guess
it's so weird to think that was like a thing to say. I just go like, fucking internet. Yeah, I don't get it. It's just like, damn.
Oh,
that was 2000. That was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
20 years ago, it was a fad.
The birth
I don't think I got it. Sorry.
The birth of the internet is a very interesting topic. If you're ever interested, I would say look into it. There's a really good podcast from MKBHD. They're a kind of tech reviewer, kind of small group of people, but yeah, they go into the weeds about like how interview like the people who are responsible for creating the internet.
Oh.
And if you, from that point of view, you could see it as like, oh, it's just a fad, because it wasn't really anything meant that great, and it was something really pushed by certain corporations, more on the email side. Like kind of like in Die Hard, you could imagine that corporation probably would have had some kind of email server to email their company's stuff, but other than that, they would have barely had anything else to do with that kind of stuff. And you had the military heavily involved, and universities, but it wasn't really much of anything until a few people kept pushing it, and eventually it caught on.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. You know what else is cool? Matchstick Men. Let's go back.
That did just remind me though. I wanted to say something to you earlier, Pat. I completely forgot. When you're in LA, you should try and find Fox Studios, because then you can see the real life Nakatomi Plaza.
Oh,
okay, that's
I'll make a note of it.
Yeah.
Yippee-ki-yay.
What's
I
that?
forgot.
Mother trucker.
Did you say what's that from?
Yes.
Die
It's the
Hard.
building that blows up in Die Hard.
Hard Die.
Oh yeah.
Nakatomi, Nakatomi, Nakatomi. Matchstick Men, let's go. There's like so many like really good little scenes and all that. And I do think like going back to like the OCD and that, I think it does come out of like his lifestyle. Like I think he's always got kind of like a bit of a nagging feeling like he's always gonna be conned or he's always gonna be caught or something. And that's where the cleaning kind of comes from. Like I guess I think it's just like it's something that comes out of like anxiety and all that. And I think what was it that Camilla said it was like psychosomatic?
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah. That whole thing with like the placebos and stuff like that. Like I think that really points to it being like an anxiety OCD rather than a true OCD, for lack of a better.
Mm.
But like, yeah. Go on.
Not to go off topic again.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
But
To go off topic.
Another kind of thing it reminds me of a psychosomatic kind of situation is in Sherlock when I forget his name now. Watson. Where Sherlock's just like, yeah, you don't need that cane. What are you talking about? Blah blah. The word. He's like, dude, you don't need this cane. And there's a point where he doesn't have it. He's just going. And he's like, wait, where's my cane? He's like, I told you don't need it. He's just like, oh. Anyway, just reminded me. Carry on.
Yeah.
It's
Alrighty
a good
then.
film. You see, it has many things about it that make you compare it to the things in life and films. It's good. No,
Yeah,
that's
good.
So I do really like that scene where like you have the bit where she comes back home and they get into an argument and everything, and she starts going on about like she's like really pushing him to say what his job is, and he's just like, for fuck's sake, I'm a con man. And then like you have that whole thing where she's like cool with it, and he's like, what the fuck? And then he's actually like telling her stuff, and she's quite impressed. And he's like, oh wow. And then like when he goes back to the therapist, like after that all happens, it's like, how's it going with Angela? And it's like, yeah, we're doing really well. And he's like, oh great. Like, how come? It's like, I told her what I do for a living. She's so good at conning people. And he's like, right. And it's something like he's excited for, because it's something that he doesn't feel like he can share with anyone, I guess, other than Sam Rockwell. And so like it's something that naturally would put people off because it's a fucking horrible thing to do. But yeah, just the excitement that he's getting out of being able to share it with someone else. Like I think that's a nice little character moment. But then it's also then played upon later with like the oh fuck, he's pulled it. He's like moved the meeting up like earlier, and he's going like, oh fuck, I can't even take you home. I don't even have time to take you home, and I don't have the guy ready to do the distraction, and shit, I gotta take you with me. And it's like there's just all these little prods going like, what are you gonna do here? What are you gonna do here? Come on, what are you go on, bring your daughter to this dangerous con that we're doing. Yeah, you're gonna do it, aren't you, you little prick? And it's like this is all just knowing it's all coming from Sam Rockwell's character, just going like, go on, admit you're a little dickhead. Yeah, go on, do it again. Like it just there's just so much like it's just so mean. There's just so much like just mean spirited little like
yeah. Good luck. Enjoy the gift.
Yeah, and like, I think that bit, and I think like the whole being arrested story, and like him wanting to protect, like you kind of as he's giving him as he's giving the therapist like the passcode and that to get her the money and that, like, I think he's just so like well built up because like he would try and protect her. Like she's the most meaning he's had in his life for like at least 15 years. Like, I don't know. I just think it's so well constructed. And then like when he finally goes out, that's my favorite scene. I think when he realizes there's no one in there, and he walks out onto like the sky, and he realizes he's on the top of a skyscraper, and he's like, "Motherfucker!" But it's like, God, that's cold. That's fucking cold. But it's like that is the nature of the game. You think it's fine to con people because you need money. There's nothing stopping like that happening to you, and it's the guy that you thought you could trust, but you should have known better than to trust someone. Like,
Yeah,
that is exactly what you get, and the only way you get out of that is by being conned and not going back into it. And it's like I think I don't know. I just think that's such a good. I don't know. Comedic balance.
Like as soon as he woke up like sweating, I was just like, crap. He's just been. As soon as he woke up sweating, I was like, crap, man. That's bad. That's messed up. You're done. It's all gone. And then he obviously, like you said, he realizes he's getting up. I'm just like, I'm sorry, dude, but yeah, you're it's over. You just didn't realize.
Yeah, and then what's the first word that we see on like after the 1 year later title card, which is a very effective title card? The first word we see is the word remnants, and it's like, hey, there you go. He's in a carpet store. That's completely organic, but like obviously there's a reason he's sitting under that sign marked remnants. Like, yeah.
Oh, remnants of what? His past?
He's a remnant. He is what's left. His whole life has been destroyed. He is what is left.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
I just thought it's such a well put together little story, especially me going like, am I just watching a film about a guy meeting his daughter and getting better and just turning his life around?
I mean, that would have been good too.
That would have been good too. But I was like, no, it's this instead. It's like, shit, man, that's so good.
Speaking of turning things around, Rob, why are you sideways?
Oh, am I? I don't know, to be honest.
The way Rob is.
Right. Who's not done a favourite scene?
My imaginary friend. Camilla hasn't.
Go on, Camilla.
You want to say a favorite scene? You don't have to come on camera if you don't want.
See, I didn't think of anything. So
Anything you like? Or stuck out to you?
it was sweet when we went bowling and we were just hanging out.
Oh, when they went bowling and they were hanging out, it was sweet.
Ah.
Yeah.
It was nice. I felt very sad for him.
Yeah, it felt sad for him.
I felt like if you found out, I felt like he made me think of if Emmanuel found out he had a child and was also a con man. That's what this movie is. What would happen to him? That's how he would be, and that's how things would go.
Thanks.
Just really innocent and trusting,
right.
even when innocence and trusting makes no sense whatsoever.
I feel like I would have at least confronted the mom. And
I
then
don't think you would have done.
I think I would.
Like the least confrontational person
I would.
I've met, and I
No, but I would have gone up to be like, okay, this is. I want
what he
to kind
should
of
have
do
done
this.
is ask for a paternity test. That's what he should have done.
But to do that, he would need to talk to the mom, which he never did into the end of the film. There's so many occasions where I would have gone, all right, let me go and actually talk to her in person because she's not answering the phone. I don't feel comfortable about some of this.
There's so many occasions when it looks like it seems like he's being conned. Like a placebo is a placebo. A placebo is not an off the shelf. What was it in antihistamine or something?
Menopause.
Drug. Like, and a psychiatrist wouldn't just give that out. No.
Yeah, but he's not going to question it at that point, is he? Because he just wants it.
He's not, no.
Yeah,
but he probably should.
Oh yeah, he should have. There's a lot of things he should have done, but he's not the type of person who would do those things. No.
Okay. Bye, guys.
See you later.
See you in a bit.
Fascinates me.
Wow.
No.
I mean, I guess one thing he could have done was like he knew that she knew about where the money was in his like weird little dog sculpture thing. I felt like he could have moved it somewhere else, I guess. That's the only thing I could have thought of. Like, I mean, you like your stuff being tidy and stuff, I guess, but you could have found somewhere else to be tidy if you know someone else was messing it up. So I guess that's like
that's the least of the problems. That only had like 4,000 in it. There actually, I don't even know how there was 4,000 in that. Point is, there was probably a couple hundred in that. His main problem was the bank.
Oh yeah, the safety deposit box. Yeah,
he lost everything from that. I mean, he's not living at the same place, is he?
I think he is. No, is he not?
I'm not sure.
I can't really remember or tell because it doesn't look like it looks slightly different.
Yeah, but I thought that was because he's got Kathy or Katie?
Kathy. He
Kathy
could be
with
going
him.
to her place.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's Carthy.
No.
Think you're a can't. Well, yeah, is that what you? Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
Heavens, Factor Carthy.
Oh,
right. People are looking tired. Is there anything else we want to say about Matchstick Men? Does anyone want to bring up that tense as fuck car park chase thing?
What?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was good. I think
You know the car park chase
the first con, basically.
where the bloke chases after him.
Yeah. What about it?
Yeah, good.
Just thought it was worth mentioning. I don't know. It's pretty good. I hate that American thing where they give back your change. And they got to count it out in little bills, and I'm just like, motherfucking stuff.
I think that's less of an American thing and more of a you just met someone who's very like will do their job as they were trained kind of person. You will have plenty of corrupt people who will just be like, okay, all right, see you, bye. I'll keep the change. Of course, in most jobs, you can't take tips. Don't mean people aren't going to take tips. He just meant a stickler with the rules.
Yeah.
Especially in America, you want those tips. If you're not in a well-paid job, you're going to take that change. You're not going to be like, I'm not going to take like the $12 change. That could be like dinner and breakfast the next day. That's important stuff.
Indeed.
And with that said,
I think one of my favorite moments is the actual the revelation Roy comes to when he awakens in the hospital bed and obviously he thinks, oh, this is a real place, and then he finds out, oh no, I'm actually in this. It's the whole place is a ruse, and that's when everything dawns on him and the audience at the same time that it was all Sam Rockwell's character's doing, and he was played himself. The con man was conned, which is quite interesting. The fact that I realized it's kind of like two similar twists happen in this and V for Vendetta, where the main character goes through such a story arc, and then this rug pull moment happens at like 3/4 through the story, and then just like it changes the whole
Dynamic.
It changes the entirety of the theme and this and how the character deals with things going forward, and how you perceive the film as a whole as well, because of how it's just kind of like unexpected, but at the same time the signs were there from the beginning. So I thought it's quite it's one of my favorite modes, just because of the consequences it has.
The consequences. Right. Robert, what's your film?
So, my pick this week. So I thought, seeing as it's Goat Round next round, I kind of want to do something that's like not trying to be the best film of all time, because like I imagine that Goat Round is going to be pretty heavy, and there's going to be like a lot of like sort of big epics and whatever. So I just wanted to do something that was like nice and small, and just something that we could have a bit of fun with. So I'm going to do.
It's Alex Penis.
Oh,
What?
you just...
Well, I mean,
Look at the big smile on his face.
What the fuck?
all that means is that you're just checking out Alex Penis. What's I don't know if that says more about Alec or more about you. I don't know.
But no, there's
ahead, Rob.
actually there's two films that kind of fit that, and I was set on picking one, but then I thought about the other, and now I can't pick, so I'm just going to flip a coin. So Heads is the film I was originally going to pick, and Tails is the other one. So it's Heads. It's High Fidelity.
Also
and it's
known
available on Disney Plus.
as Alex Penis.
Also known as Hi-Fi.
Ooh. Oh wait, is this Goat Round?
No. This is like deliberately not Goat Round.
Okay.
Can
that's
I
not
ask what the other film was?
Yeah, the other film was the film that I mentioned earlier. It was going to be Punch Drunk Love.
So the next film, the next round is Goat Round.
Yeah. So next round is Goat Round. This is something that hopefully we can all just sit and smile at round. For me, not for everyone.
So, I hope. What was it? I think I'm gonna find it hard, Goat Round, because I've already picked like some of my favorite all-time greatest of all time things. So just like,
Do you know what?
what else to pick out?
I'm absolutely stuck on Goat Round because like I find it really hard to think in terms of like a film being the greatest ever.
Wait,
Like,
I
If
thought
you think of one of the greatest ever.
even that, like I can't get it straight in my head like what the criteria would be for a film to be considered the greatest ever.
I mean, isn't it just the greatest to you, isn't it? I thought that was what we were going for. Because if we say it's the greatest film of this type, or if you hate that type of genre of film, then it's going to be pointless, you know? It's like if I picked the greatest anime movie ever, so at least two people would just go, yeah, literally, it's the saw his face, go cringe. And so it's like, it means nothing. It's the greatest to you, or it could be something. From what I understood it as, it's a greatest something to you. Because because I'm so worried for Goat Round, I have like several movies lined up in my list to see what is the greatest film, but like for different reasons.
We're gonna wind up with the Grinch House Stole Christmas too.
The Greatest Showman. Again.
No.
No, because
No.
that's the thing. Like, I mean, it's a really weird concept to me because, like, it was like when we were like quite early in film club, Pat picked Pulp Fiction, and
That's a
he
good
said
one.
that he picked it because he thought it was the greatest film of all time. And I remember at the time being like, I don't get how you can work it out. And I remember Pat asking me like what I thought was the greatest film of all time, and I was like, genuinely, I don't think there is one. Like, I don't know how I'd measure it.
You don't think it's The Room?
Oh, that's already been picked, isn't it?
Room's probably one of the worst we've had.
Yeah, but
I did have an idea of doing like the greatest B movie of all time because I'm quite set in my mind of what that might be.
I have one
I am
as
as well.
well. I have
Oh,
one
really?
as well, just in case. Just in case you pick my other good films. So I'm like, this is like the greatest, shittest movie ever. It's like, yeah, it's perfect.
Tokyo Gore Police is worse than The Room, I have to say.
Yes.
Oh,
Well, yeah, I mean,
Agreed.
I mean, like, if I wanted to go for actual shit films, there's a whole thing, right? But it's like there's like, you know, could I go for the greatest of all time? But like, no, the greatest shit. No, that doesn't work. The greatest film of all time. That's really shit. No.
The greatest
One-
shit
one-
film of all time. I like it.
One of my ideas for Goat Round was the greatest dilemma of all time. And that dilemma is that it's a film that I love by someone who I think is an awful person.
Oh,
Mhm.
I know what film this is.
But another problem is that like most of the ones I might pick, I've either already picked or they're so mainstream and so well known. I just don't want to pick it because I'm just like everyone here has seen it. I also love the film, but don't want to watch it really again. So I'm just like, oh what?
I mean, no, but like it doesn't matter, right? I mean, unless you're planning to pick our first comic book like live action movie, right? That's the whole thing. That if you pick that, that'll be one thing. But like if it's mainstream, it doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it's just popular. Obviously, this is a conversation we've had lots of times. Just because something is popular doesn't make it good. We know this. We know this already. But we know that because something can be popular and it can still be good, it's also a thing, right? So just pick what you think. It's but it's like it doesn't matter, to be honest.
I think it's one of those things like usually before I would have like some of the things I would have picked probably wouldn't have been things everyone had seen, but I thought it was one of the greatest of all time, like in its genre. But like one of the only things I've got left, I'm thinking in my head, it's like I think we've all seen like multiple times. So I'm just like,
what about something that is on? Because I thought you might pick something that's on my pick list, and I'm trying to be vague enough so that it's not obvious what I'm talking about. But you bought me it on Blu-ray.
I forgot what I bought you on Blu-ray, honestly.
Right, let me. I'll just give you. So I thought that you might possibly pick. There you go.
Oh.
In any case, I have 3 films on that I could potentially choose for Goat Round that are all quite mainstream and popular films.
That's a great pick.
Oh damn!
Sorry, are you gonna pick that?
I'm considering it, but if you want it, you can have it.
Because I don't want to pick. Anyway, we'll talk more about that another time.
Yeah, this is, no, I was gonna say because like what you guys could pick could be everyone's like one of the films that everyone goes, yeah, that's a pretty awesome film. But like it's impossible because we're keeping our cards really to our chest. We can't really go, I'm gonna pick this film. Like, oh yeah. So it's
To be
very
fair,
hard.
Pokemon.
me, Rob, Ben, and Alec have just thrown our cards at each other in another chat.
The only problem is that my cards change with frightening regularity.
So do mine.
No, just
Me and
Just
Alex
all
have-
the fucking time.
Yeah,
I'm
me and
just-
Alex have got that. We've settled on ours and we're not budging.
I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna be thinking like I'm be so worried that everyone's gonna choose the films I was gonna check on the list to go, all right, cross this one out. And afterwards, oh, you gotta pick this film, I'm gonna cross this one out now. Fucking hell, I was so worried. Let's see how it goes though.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So
Yeah.
High Fidelity, where can we watch it?
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
Yes, okay.
Disney.
But yeah, like I said, like it's not like the best film ever, and it's not like trying to be, but I really love it, and I hope you guys do too.
I
Oh,
hope so as well.
Thanks,
and I
man.
hope you do too.
Also, on a very random side note from earlier,
You.
when you do get around to reading June, I hope you like it. And when you do finish reading, let me know what you thought.
What I might do, because when is the next film out? It's like November, right?
I think so.
So I might make it the next thing I read. Because I wanted to read The Exorcist next, but maybe I'll do that in time for part 2 of June.
True. What I would say is that I think if you read it, you might appreciate it more. It's one of these rare occasions where it's a really faithful adaptation to the book.
Mm.
And I didn't understand it until I read the book. I was like, they did so well. Like, it's one of those things, if you like the book, you probably would like the film. But if you didn't like the film, you might not like the book, but you might prefer the book. Who knows? Because they didn't really change much of anything.
Yeah.
It feels like the film does. It's a ton of political intrigue and levels upon levels upon levels upon levels beneath levels and around about.
To be fair, like given like how much it influenced Star Wars, I think I'd be surprised if I didn't like the book.
Yeah, fair enough. It does a lot of world building and a lot of just a lot of stuff. I think one thing I really like about it, sorry about this, everyone, is that it gets you to try and think 10 steps ahead.
Right.
Because all the characters, that's what they're doing to each other. And if you can't infer the message behind everything, you end up losing your life. It's very much of that kind of feeling throughout the whole, like the first 2 books anyway. So It's always this mind F of a game, but they're going through this it's cool.
Yeah. Have you read any of the other books?
I've only read the second one,
Right.
which I don't want to spoil anything because there's huh?
Is it worth reading?
Oh yeah, I think it's worth reading. I don't know about the third one because I talk about it in another chat, but because I don't know how much you know about the series and the main story already.
I know a little bit. Like I don't know like massive amounts, but like when I was downloading the audiobooks, because there's like so many of them, I was like, I need to know like how much of this is essential because I don't want to like get into it and then like find out that I'm like making a 12-year commitment to it.
Yeah. What I would say is that the first 2 books are essential.
Right.
I don't know about everything else because that one goes into more unknown territory and becomes more like what Star Wars is. Like in June in the second book, it's kind of like following the main character.
Right.
But after that, it's more like the universe and the legacy that's behind. It's kind of like the films after Luke, like after Anakin dies and stuff. You're just like, okay, so you've got lots of other random stuff happening now. It's and also I feel like they probably won't do films past the second book, to be honest, unless it becomes really successful, and maybe they would make it into a TV series because I think they are making a TV series actually.
What, like as a companion to the films?
Yes, the Bene Gesserit who are a whole bunch of messed up controlling order themselves. They're making that with HBO.
Oh, okay, right.
That's either coming out later this year. I think it's coming out this year as well.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
But yeah, that'll be interesting. But yeah, if you know the books, you know how far back their order goes and just how involved in everything and controlling they are. It's the whole thing. It's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I might have like a little walk down to like, because there's a charity shop in Balham that it's just like a nice little bookshop basically. But I might have a walk down there one day and see if they've got it.
Nice. Cool. And sorry, my rant about Dune is over. I stopped talking about it. Yeah.
Back to Matchstick Men.
And I will stop.